Welcome Lawn Care Legends to the 20th edition of Lawn Care Skull Session. I'm BJ. This is Benny. Boom! How you doing, brother?
Yeah, good, mate. I'm sorry, I'm already starting off with like a
bit of a cough in the throat.
Yeah. So anyway, my turn to speak.
Yeah.
No, going good. A little bit cooler this week.
Thank God.
We had a heat wave last week. And also, we did have a big weekend with CatchPro. But tapering off, still selling, which is good. That's what I like. But we're able to keep up, and the weather's beautiful. I'm in a good spot.
Yeah, nice. I had some more flat tires.
Yeah, sorry. I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be like when I finished about me. I was supposed to be like, and how y'all doing?
No. I'm good, man. I'll just start myself off. Yeah, more flat tires for Beach. Another $200 down the drain on two new fucking tires.
And do you think that this is a dual axle problem?
I don't know. I know
this is your
with
first
the
dually, eh?
Yeah, this is my first dually, and with my first trailer, my single axle, I never had flat tires. I won't say never, actually. I had one in about 4 years, so I don't know. I don't know if it's a dually thing. I know there's two extra tires, so double the issues, but it seems to be like it just picks up nails, it picks up screws, and all over the place.
Might be time to get some tyre shield.
Yeah. I've got it, and well,
I mean, you got to find a minute to do it.
I had goo in one of them, and I took it, and I forgot to tell the blokes when they were putting the new tyres on the rims, so they would have been messy. I heard that they're not a fan of that shit, but
there's a clag on them.
There was so much clag in them. I definitely double pumped one of them. I just filled it to the brim, and it was literally that day, so it still would have been sloppy as. So good luck to them.
Now, just quickly, sorry to cut you off, but check out the flow, the merch, Stripe Life in the US.
What's happening, guys?
So basically, and we got this down here too.
Yep.
And then obviously we got the El Faithful Shaggy.
Yeah.
Which is exclusive to like brand ambassadors. We can't get that shit, right?
Yeah, that's familiar.
For anyone who is not viewing the content right now, we apologise.
Yeah. We got some flash swag.
Yeah, so I was just going to say right off the bat, they got this, the Stripe Life big Facebook group. They got a merch store now. They're actually like fans of CatchPro. So they were like, hey man, can we send you some hats? And we didn't get this, we bought this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I bought it. But I was happy to.
Yeah, I got to pay you back.
I was happy to because, I like having a good collection of stuff. But if anyone wants to get amongst, some of the slickest merch out there, it's www.stripelife.com. Jump on. You can probably find the link on the Stripe Life page.
Yeah, I'll check the link in the description as well.
That'd be great. Now, for the guys and girls in Australia, like we have a tough time striping, right? But those stripes that they get in the US, it just blows my mind.
So I wasn't like until you really pointed them out to me. Like I was always a fan of Stripe Life stuff, and I'd seen it, and I'm following them on all my socials. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, I'll have a proper look. And sometimes when you haven't looked at something thoroughly, it doesn't come up. But now it comes up all the time. I'm like, holy shit. Like, they're legit, like, solid stripes. I'm like...
Yeah.
I throw a few pictures up of things that I'm like, yeah, check out the stripes. And then I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah, man. They've got strong game over there. And their community that they've built is a little bit like our... It's a mix between, I'd say, Australian lawn fanatics and LMCA, just in one big community. You sort of got you got a fair bit of in the Stripe Life community. You got obviously the contractor market, then you just got your homeowner fanatical sort of type, and found it to be a great group. Yeah. They love the show, which is cool for us.
That's good.
And it's all part of that networking. Those guys are at GIE, things like that, which hopefully some of us Australians can get to.
Fingers crossed.
Eventually. While we're here, we've also got you got a muscle beard rig on.
Woo! Check it out. My peeps at Muscle Beard have hooked me up, so I'm very excited. They actually got this shirt made especially for me. I'm very, very humbled.
Well done, man.
Yeah. So yeah.
But anyone can jump on their
Go and
website.
check them out, man. This is how I keep this rig nice, and it's not just for people with beards. It's they have shampoos and body washes, all that stuff. Brushes.
All the Shearers out there with hairy armpits.
Yeah, that's it. They have tanning stuff now. They're branching out because they're a very, very small business, and they just all of a sudden exploded, and they're doing so well. The lady who actually runs it, she was a barber for like 17 years. So when I reached out to them, they were like, yeah, telling me all these tricks and tips. Got my clippers to go shorter and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, this is awesome. So
Good stuff.
If anybody jumps on the website, use TVL15. I'm hoping to change that over, and we might be able to get a skull 15 or something.
That'd be pretty cool. Yep. All right. Any other housekeeping before we get into today's topic?
We got a few. So last week's episode, I got bombarded by franchisees. Like, these guys came out of the woodworks, and just a couple of them. Tony Nguy. I don't know how to say his name.
Oh yeah, he's one of our CatchPro. He's a good customer of CatchPro too.
He's a Skag customer too.
So Tony, I actually always fight with my wife about how to pronounce your last name. Now it's spelled, what is it? Nguy. So I just say Tony Guy because, but my wife says like Tony Nye. What are you saying?
I said Nguy.
Nguy. Okay, cool. So Tony, if you're out there, man, let us know. Help us pronounce it.
Yeah. Nathan Brown and Nick Lang. So I got so much information sent through to me from these guys. I think we have to just do a whole nother episode on just franchises. And
yes. I had Leo from Fox Mowing, the owner of Fox Mowing.
Oh my God.
We do some business together anyway.
Yep.
He's actually going to be in Brisbane.
Oh, sweet.
In a couple of weeks, so we might do a specific episode on, just to piggyback on it, just a little bit more on Fox Mowing. Then I also had the gym's franchisor for either Brisbane or South Brisbane reach out only just today.
Oh, cool.
And say, hey, we can give you tons more info. So we can also hit up that channel and
awesome
and go through that process.
And just thank you so much to those guys. The information is just like it's what we needed. It's really hard for people who aren't actually in the franchise world to get that kind of information. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we had a lot of good independent feedback, like from the independent feedback as well, saying that like what I have to remember what we even fucking said in the episode, but. I know that we probably stated that, your first year or two as an independent is a really make or break.
Yeah.
And we had some comments, people reaching out saying that, that was absolutely true for them and they were able to soldier through and really, really push through and build something nice.
Yeah, well, it's crazy to hear like how many people actually listen on a Monday because I'm there working away and I'm listening to our podcast and I jumped onto Gary's podcast and then I looked at my phone at Smoko and it's just blowing up. I'm like, oh shit, I got some work to do. So I'm like snapping away, trying to get all these questions answered and saying all my thank yous for all the information. So it was awesome.
And between that's why people are loving Mondays. Like contractors are loving Mondays now because they can get Gary's brand new episode and they can get the new episode of the Skullies.
Gets you through to Smoko, I guess.
And so that's awesome. Great support. Great to hear. I had another comment from, it was on YouTube from B Barty.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to know, what's the best trailer size? Now, I haven't replied to it.
Yeah.
Only because I thought, look, it's a tough question to answer because I don't think that there's any ideal setup.
No.
But I thought we could spend a minute just talking about, quickly our experiences and hopefully if B Barty is listening to this current episode, hopefully that sheds some light. So what size are you running right now?
So I'm running
it's like a fucking 50 by fucking
I think all up is like 18 foot, which is bonkers, man. It's a very long trailer, very easy to maneuver. I find like it's actually quite an easy rig to drive around with and reverse and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, the bigger the trailer, the bigger the drawbar, the easier look, it is easier.
It's very smooth to turn. Yeah. I have, and I've said this in previous episodes now, taking heaps of green waste and stuff is becoming a bit difficult because I'm not one to overload my trailer. So I think I have gone a little bit too heavy on my trailer. My own fault. I got greedy. Chucked it after I had my accident with my last trailer. Wanted the axles a little closer to the front, and to do that, I needed to put a little bit more on the back. So.
Yeah.
But no, I really think when it comes to trailers, you got to think of the weight. Then you have to think about the future. And then you have to think about what you actually want to carry.
You're so fucking wise.
No, it's just I made mistakes that I learned from.
Yeah, I mean, look, no one's rebuilt a trailer more times than me. Well, there would be, but probably 3 times I've rebuilt my trailer to accommodate the growth in business.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that either time, financially cost me very much.
Yeah.
But it's just time consuming.
You did pretty well though, like with your rigs. You didn't spend.
No. I just got a cash guy he's deaf and
very handy.
It's like he's not like 100% deaf, but he's all fucked up from like just banging metal and stuff. And
okay.
First time I went down to him, he's like, "Speak louder, boy. I can't fucking hear you." And I'm like, "Oh shit, eh?"
And then he's good at what he does.
So I
mean, he does a good job. Like he can obviously hear what you want because he's done all right.
Yeah, he's awesome. Just cashy under the bish. Take that, Bush.
Yeah, a bit of cash.
So yeah, I had a win there. But look, hopefully, to answer the question, Barty, it's not, it's just a difficult. Like I couldn't say like a perfect size.
Yeah.
There's so many variables. Push mile boxes. How many carrying ride-ons do you take green waste?
ZTR boxes.
Lots of stuff like that. So I would suggest get on the social medias.
Yeah.
Get on
LMCA is a great place. There's so many like. Every week someone's like, "Hey, show us your truck rig, show us your trailer rig," and saying trucks has just spurred my brain. I went and inquired about an Isuzu yesterday. Guess what the lead time is? 8 months. 8 fucking months.
Almost like a pregnancy.
Yeah, that's what I said. I could almost have another kid. Fuck me. It's ridiculous.
That makes me fucking shiver.
Yeah, I know. Lou was hinting and I was like, nah, I'm going to see Dr. Dick. He's
like,
going to give me the chippity chop. No, man. It looks like most of them are in the same boat. A couple of guys on the LMCA page, because I reached out on there and I said, like, 8 months, this is bullshit. But a couple of guys have sent me some numbers, which is great, and I'll get in contact with them. Obviously, today I won't because I came straight from work to here. But,
I got some advice.
What?
Get a fucking Ram truck.
No. I want a truck.
Get a Ram.
Nah, that's not a truck.
What is it?
It's a fuck truck.
Don't you fucking talk down about it. I understand. I know what you mean.
I don't need a Ram truck to look good.
You saying I need that thing to look good?
Nah. To look better.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I did get it to look good, it's not working.
I reckon you're like, 13 out of 10,
But anyway, so is there any more
shout-outs? Man, we got a shout-out on Apple Podcast. We got it from Simon Distinct, LNG. Always love listening to this kick off the week whilst pumping out lawns. Really love the banter. Could listen all day. Keep it up, fellas. 5-star review. That's what we want.
Thank you, Simon.
We don't need this anymore, do we? I'll flop this laptop down.
Don't believe so. Just to quickly, the housekeeping's taking us so long these days, but it's just something that we've got to send out there. So we on the podcast charts, we were like number 2. In home and gardening.
God damn.
Which was good out of 250 podcasts. So we were like, oh yeah, that's pretty sweet. But then we were like, look, we don't really want to be in home and garden. We want to be in a different tier.
Yeah.
And so we put ourselves into business and entrepreneurship. And we debuted like 76.
Yeah.
Which is probably that's
could have been worse. It goes all the way to 250.
Yeah. We did drop to like 120, but today on this date we ended up right along our pal Aussie Lawn Stars at respectively 52 and 53. He's a couple of points ahead of us, and he certainly deserves that. So I just want to say congrats to you, man. This is your thing that you made happen, and
this is a team effort. There's no I in team.
That's true, man.
Knowing.
So anything else?
Yeah, that's about it. I just want to say thank you all. This is number 20. I didn't even know if we get past 5. So I'm really excited that this episode is all about my man here, Benny, and the real story of how CatchPro came to be. So a bit excited about this.
The real story.
Real story.
And look, the reason why I guess we decided to do this was my story has been told. Recently.
Multiple times.
On Aussie Lawn Stars and the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast, which you can both go back into the archives on the Fullerton Unfiltered or Aussie Lawn Stars.
Yeah.
You can check back. But why I thought that you and I could sort of touch a little bit more on this is some of the timelines were a little bit dusty there. And there's just been so much happen over the last few years. There's also, we can get a little bit deeper into some of the details. See how I've said details then?
Yeah.
Fucking details.
Details.
And some of the trials and tribulations that you have to go through.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot about it because, we still talk most days, and we did back then as well. But, I just thought it'd be good. I thought it was a really good idea, especially for our 20th ep. But I may as well just start it off. Where did the concept of CatchPro come from?
How specific do you want me to be?
I want you to be really Pacific.
Yeah. I don't usually do that. No. So, look, essentially, even before I had the CatchPro, I was already kind of messing around, thinking about different products and ideas.
Yeah.
And it wasn't something that was huge. I had reached out to dry wraps. I was just looking for things in Greenscape Solutions. Where it really sort of became, when we started to actually think about an actual grass catcher, I was convinced I needed a grass catcher.
Yeah.
For Greenscape Solutions when we took on our village contracts.
Yeah.
That was the major reasoning behind what is out there. And I wanted to I just thought that the only option was a walker.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. Why didn't you just buy a walker?
Yeah. So that was the option. Later on in life, we actually did end up with a walker, but we didn't get one at that time.
Yeah.
And where CatchPro really started was I went having a look to see what is out there, and that's when I discovered Accelerator Industries.
Yeah.
And I believe I was super intrigued by this concept of a side bagger.
Yeah.
I bought my first one in 2016. It was October 2016. I bought one for my business. And not only did I really love the product, but when I bought it, when it arrived, it didn't come with any mounting brackets, no instructions. It was the wrong size. So many things were wrong with it.
Yeah.
Got it to mount, got it to work. Everything was great. Performed good.
Yeah.
Essentially, I reached out to them directly.
Yeah.
And thought to myself, that's the first time that I really thought there's a market for something like this here. And I tried to get a distribution deal and that didn't work. So that is when I sort of thought to myself, well, fuck that, I'll just build my own.
Yeah.
So that's really how that all came about.
Yeah. It was an exciting time for me too, because you were like, you got to come over and check this thing out. And I came over and you were like, this is fucked on it. And I had to do this, I had to bodge this. But it was a great concept. From my point of view, I'm like, oh, it's a really simple concept, but it's not a simple thing, is it? We'll get into that later, but it's really not a simple...
Look, there are certain things about the Accelerator and CatchPro, like there's differences that translate over different markets.
Yeah.
So in America, they're mostly only using these side baggers to clean up leaves.
Yeah.
Here, we're legit catching grass.
Yeah.
And there'll be markets in America where they'll catch grass, with these things. But their properties are so big, they're not doing like 600 or 800 square blocks like we are, with tiny stand-ons. So there's just a couple of like airflow, different things. Obviously, the decks here are a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest complications was the manufacturing.
Oh, okay.
Because you can't have, like, they have a welded product.
Yeah.
Which I looked at and I thought, well, some of these welds kind of look a bit funky, and, it's not like you're going to have some dude sitting in a shed welding all day.
That's it.
So there was certain things, like, right off the bat that I had to look at and be like, how am I going to be different? How can you actually make this doable?
Yeah. So you got it. You thought, I can do this, but better. So what was the process from there? Did you break it down, or did you just start from scratch? You just thought, I'm going to make something completely different? So
I was way in too deep. I had no knowledge. I reached out to, I obviously had my Accelerator bagger. I knew that Accelerator Industries they were not going to do a deal with me.
Yeah.
I thought they might, and then, when we started discussing it and they realized I was just a mowing company, not like a big distributor, they just stopped talking to me. And I don't blame them for it. Yeah. But I think realistically, hindsight, they probably, it's not like we're dipping into their market or anything like that, but it could have been something great for them.
Exactly.
I don't know how good that would have ended up for me, but to answer your question, basically I was just going around to fabricators. Nobody wanted to take on the task or job.
Yeah.
Eventually, a local guy here who's an aluminium welder, got him to take a look. We went to school with him. Swanee.
Yeah. I think he's fixed a couple of things for me before.
Probably, yeah. So we hooked up. He had a look at it, and he was really the first person that opened up my mind to a modular design. Now, the very first concept was still a modular design with welding.
Yeah.
It wasn't until later on when we got to the CAD drawers that we were like, hey, maybe we can eliminate this welding. So, I think I started that process I got my Accelerator, I believe it was in October of 2016.
Yeah.
Used it in my business, sort of thought about it, and eventually I thought, well, I'm just going to start poking around. Probably had my first drawings done in 2017.
Yeah.
But it was a horrible experience. Got ripped off. Got hooked up with a company that had no business doing a job like this.
Okay.
And it wasn't until Swanee said, hey, I got some guys. Met with their designer. And then once that process got rolling, we actually had the fundamental idea of, okay, how do we go from there?
Yeah. You did a lot of it. I remember calling you and saying, hey man, what are you up to? You're like, oh, I'm down at KC's or something like that. You're like, I'm just checking out some decks. And would you just walk into a mower shop? Because you had to have it ready to rock and roll for all these different machines. So were you just walking in and sort of taking sneaky flicks, or would you go in and say, hey, I'm Ben, I'm building this thing, can I have a look at these decks? And
so there's some tragic stories here, but I basically knew that a lot of mowers just have a rectangular discharge.
Yeah.
And obviously there are exceptions, but the majority, the bulkiness, whatever. Now, I was also someone, I had a country clipper at the time.
Yep.
And it was the old Wrangler model that just had a very, very easy shoot to work with. So, getting it to fit my mower was very easy. Then we started seeing like, you know, and because I was a mower man, the knowledge is just the consumer knowledge now with you know, social media and support groups is so different to what it was 5 or 6 years ago. So like I knew of brands like Hustler and Gravely and knew a little bit about Skag, but like you had no idea which brands were prominent in which markets and, you know, things like that. So, a lot of prototyping was done directly off YouTube.
Yeah.
Directly,
oh, no way.
Directly off YouTube.
Really?
I prototyped, and I'm sure we'll get to this eventually, but I prototyped the velocity decks off YouTube, and I've got photos of me and Rusty sitting down at the computer, and we had these little jigs, and we'd say, so there'd be like a nut on the mower somewhere, and be like, okay, we know that a nut is like this. Yeah. And then we'd look at the deck and we'd be like, okay, so then that represents that, right, to get all the curves and stuff. It was brutal.
Yeah, man. I remember coming to your place and you'd have little slithers of cardboard everywhere, and you'd be like, check this bracket out, and you'd have all this stuff folded. Yeah. Because when you take it to a designer, you have to basically have it sort of mapped out properly. Yeah, so
the challenge of not being very good at welding was that you needed to be, you know, if you're getting everything folded and everything like that, you need to learn the tolerances. Like if you take our 5mm brackets and you go up 40mm, like Rusty and I had no idea that every time you fold something, the material grows by the width of the material. You know, so it just so much stuff that we had to learn.
Jeez. That's what I mean. There's a lot more involved than people probably heard in the other podcasts, but that's why it's good that we can do this one. But so you've got all this done. You've found someone who can hook you up. When did the first CatchPro go to market?
So
I know that I was running your prototype for a long time.
Yeah. So look, I think the first units and the first prototypes, we probably got there maybe the tail end of 2017. Probably some of those early prototypes that we really ran hard was 2018. But we didn't go to market with the CatchPro until 2018. September 2018, that was when we were like, we did all of our testing. We were super happy with it. We had a bunch of fitments in the can.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, we did a production run of 10 units, which was expensive then.
I was gonna say, how much of your money, not just time, but how much money did you sink in?
So look, initially financially, wasn't that bad. Like, it probably, you know, was maybe 5 to 10 grand.
Yep.
To get to the very beginning after I bought the Accelerator.
Yep.
Because that cost me a bunch at the time too. Like I think
can only imagine.
It cost me probably like maybe $1,500 to bring it in.
What?
To land it and to get it here. That was the total price. And I've heard people can get them for less. Yeah. But you know, this is back in 2016. You forget how long ago that is now. But yeah, so I'd say it probably only cost me 10 grand in prototyping and drawing, and you know, the first, that's probably, if you added the first production run, that would be without the first production run. That's probably what the prototyping and development stage cost me. Now that's in actual straight up money.
Yeah.
In non-billable hours, when we talk about that, people around me started to hate me. Russell didn't want to talk to me anymore. Yeah. My wife was sick and tired of hearing it. That you were probably, I don't know how you felt.
No, I was good, man. I was excited.
I became very consumed by...
You did, but I thought, like, especially because I saw how the Accelerator worked, and I saw how, you know, how much better, like the things that you were achieving, being able to catch day to day without having to walk or things like that. I just thought this is a fucking goer. Like,
yeah, and the main differences between the two products is that ours is a lot more universal.
Yeah.
So we've got way less part numbers.
Yep.
They actually, and not that I'm 100% educated, but they actually have like a catcher for each model mower.
Oh, a different shape.
Yeah, they customize that. So they have like 500 different part numbers. We only have 2 CatchPros.
Okay.
That cross over like 95% of all models.
Yeah.
So the main differences, like I think both products probably work pretty good hand in hand.
Yep.
Like, you know, when you're just comparing performance.
Yeah.
One thing we wanted to do is the American versions, it's perforated mesh all the way around.
Yep.
And the inner wall is mesh on those. We've closed that panel off because when you're on a sit-down mower and a stand-on, more on a sit-down mower.
I'd say sit-down, yeah.
The air is coming in and you know, they kick up dust. Your air filters are like right there and they just suck that stream of dirt in. And
hashtag grass bukkake.
Well, I mean, hey, you know, once you get all that dirty air, you know, going through your engine and start stripping stuff, that, you know, that's when. And so, you know, Australia, the climate that we have, it's more dusty. We're mowing lower.
Yep.
They're just some of the little changes that that we made.
Oh well, then so you've got it all ready to rock and roll. When did you start thinking about your marketing strategies and things like that? Like, where are you going to sell this product?
So when I first came out, I was convinced I needed a distribution deal.
Yeah.
So, you know, like and I didn't know how anything worked.
Yeah.
So
makes sense too, because this is before even the conception of any of these groups that we see now, isn't it? Like,
so it was definitely before LMCA.
Yeah.
The Fanatics were around.
Yeah.
And quick little story. The night that we launched, I had 10 units. And I had social media, but I didn't do anything on it except for like, I didn't do any business on it.
Yep.
Greenscape Solutions had never anything to do with social media. But I got onto the Fanatics, put a post up there and was like, hey, check out my new product. Contact me here. I believe it was a Greenscape's email.
Yeah.
So CatchPro didn't exist yet. We had the name.
Oh, okay. You had it all set out.
We had the name. The first prototype had Greenscape Solutions lasered in there.
Oh, I remember that.
And the first prototype is somewhere. I think Lee Brand or someone has it.
Yeah.
Never given it back. I never asked either.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I remember getting PMs.
Yeah.
Not from Lenny, but from moderators.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, take this down. And I remember my phone was blowing up in my hand.
Really?
And I just looked at their message and was like, gotcha, you know. So I sold out that night.
For real?
And really drummed up a lot of interest. Got my next production run going. So to answer your question, it was like my only real strategy was to just get it in front of people.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know, we did go to some dealers, but it was really heartbreaking when a dealer looks at you with something that you've made.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck is this?
To be honest,
and
man.
then they're like, next, please.
Every time you call me, I was like, oh, fuck, this poor guy. He's going out with this product, wearing his heart on his sleeve, and these guys are saying, it's not going to work, it's not going to work. Even our favourite guy, like our go-to guy, said, nah. You even said, do you want to be a part of this? You want to be a dealer? And he's like, nah.
Yeah, my local dealer that we had been, using for a decade.
Yeah, and then
sat me down and was like, Ben, why are you trying this?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, why don't you just, you can make money off mowing. Like, why don't you just go and do that and don't worry about this? No, I didn't use any of that as motivation.
No.
I've always been reasonably grounded in the sense that, like, say for my dad, for example, my dad, he's so supportive.
Yeah.
But he never talked about it. He never, you know, I know deep down when I would talk to him that he was thinking the same thing, like don't put yourself out there for this, because he was worried about what. Now the dealer, for example, was not worried about me. He was just like, you know, being a bastard.
Yeah.
But I could tell that, like, you know, people close to me were sort of like, you know, nice try, kid.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, like, my wife, Vicky, she's not very opinionated.
Yep.
She's not super passionate either, but, like, she wasn't telling me to, like, she wasn't encouraging me, but she wasn't telling me to stop.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was kind of like, you know, well, that's her way of telling me that you know, she was supporting me. So, and then in the end, there were so many times where I was just like, oh, man, I just, you know, because even at this point in the story, you know, with the first 1-2 production runs, even with the first couple of dealers, we still had a really hard 12 months ahead of us.
Yeah.
And she always had said to me, along with you and, you know, a few others, it's impossible to stop.
Yeah.
You've got this out there. It's impossible to stop. You're not going to be able to.
Gone past the start line. You've got to fucking run the race now.
Yeah.
And what a race it's been. But it really, like, at one stage you were like, do you want to get in on this? And I wanted to, but at that stage I was still just like I wasn't on struggle street, but we were just finding our feet in the industry, and we were just starting to just make things happen. And I was like, talk to my wife. I'm like, you know, should we? And she was like, look, I don't know. What if something happens? This is our savings. And we decided not to. I kind of regret that now. But
and a lot of that was financial based.
Yeah.
Because
100% was financial based. I had the prototype, and I was like, I fucking love it. Like, I picked up a village, and I could instantly be like, hey, I've got a ZTR and I can catch. And I got the village probably based on that. If I couldn't catch, I would have been push mowing a fucking massive village, and, you know, I wouldn't have been able to handle that capacity.
I mean, one of the toughest things as well was we were starving. Like, I've never been a rich person. I haven't been poor for a long time. Like, Greenscapes is doing well.
Yeah.
And when I say doing well, like I said, we didn't live like rich people.
Yeah.
We're just middle class, normal, you know. But when you start pouring your own money into some of this stuff, and then you're neglecting Greenscape solutions so much, so you're really not turning, you know, not only are you sort of, you know, robbing Peter to pay Paul, but then you're not generating anything else either.
Yeah.
One thing that really, well, it sort of triggered something is that everyone from the designer to the first, you know, Swanee, even to the laser cutters, everyone tried to get a piece. Everyone saw legs in this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, and no one's offering anything financially.
Oh, okay.
They're offering services for a cut, and being very vulnerable. I mean, I almost cut some deals that, you know, I think you'd see a different world out there right now. But it was hard because you're being constantly, you know, put down by either the consumer or the dealer or the distributor, whatever the case is. But at the same time, there's other people trying to take your product because they can see it has legs.
The hardest one for me personally would probably be the dealer. I mean, a consumer can buy something and not be happy with it. That's, you know, but dealers are supposed to fucking have eyes on these products and go, that's for the industry. This is going to go out and we're going to make some coin off this. But yeah, you had a real hard time getting into dealers. Like, did you pull back from the dealers? Like, when did you decide to go online with CatchPro and sort of hit the CatchPro online store?
So we, I was selling them on Gumtree.
Yeah. I still see them pop up on Gumtree now. I must have.
No way.
Yeah.
Like, not my ads.
Your ads.
Oh, wow.
Not like your ad, like if I'm on Gumtree, an ad for CatchPro.
Like a Google.
Like a Google ad.
Yeah, okay. Oh, no, that's pretty cool. No, so I was selling them on Gumtree, you know, and I look back on that, I laugh now. It was just a way for me to get them out there.
Yep.
I didn't know anything about building a website.
Yeah.
That was when Josh came along.
Yep.
Now, Josh is Vicky's brother.
Yep.
My brother-in-law. I mean, we weren't close. You know, we'd see each other at family things and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And he came to me and said, look, you know, I reckon it's a really cool product. He's not from our industry. He sort of said, you know, how about I sort of just put together a little Shopify website, you know, and just help you, you know, just do a few things on social media and go from there. Because I was doing social media.
Yeah.
And you look way back at those posts and you'll see a post, one of them sticks out. I think I was high on endo at the time. But we were in that drought stage.
Yeah.
You know, when we launched, we were right back in that. In that drought. And I think it started like full pouring for the first time in like 8 months.
Yep.
And I was like, hell yeah! This was my actual post.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah! It's raining. Buy a CatchPro. And some, like, don't get me wrong, that stuff gets over.
Yeah.
And
100%.
and even now, it's just who I am. I can't. I'm just not. It's yeah. And you're the same.
It's and it comes through on the Skull sessions. Like we are probably one of the most unique podcasts on the airwaves. Like we don't pull punches. We don't fuck around. We're not censored. Well, we do have our limits. Like and we do that out of respect for, you know, certain demographics and stuff. We don't.
Yeah, sure. But it's not about being offensive or anything like that.
It's about being ourselves. Like.
Yeah,
I think that's more than anything. It's about being ourselves, and from what we found, like a lot of other people, we resonate really well. Like, you know, there's a lot of people that fucking love this thing. So
yeah, and I just it's just so hard to put yourself out there, and not be who you are.
Yep.
You know, like you can pretend and you can wing it for so long, but eventually your actual true personality will come out.
Yeah.
So, but no, to answer your question, we were on Gumtree, trading under Greenscapes, CatchPro. You know, the website got built when Josh put his hand up and said, "Hey, you know, I think I can help you out."
Yeah.
And it was a very casual gig at that point, but that didn't. I don't think that drove sales or anything. It was just a way to... It was just a platform and the very first stages of a platform.
So, all right. Well, you mentioned distribution earlier. Did you reach out to a few people for distribution? Like there's a few mobs, like, you know, obviously.
Yeah, so like I said, I was convinced I needed distribution to be successful. So I always thought of it like the lawn mowing game, which is certainly wrong.
Yeah.
Look, I still believe a portion of it now, but the way that I ran Greenscapes was accumulate as many big contracts as you possibly can and fill up that diary.
Yeah.
And then that way, there's no, like, to me, there is no point on doing a $10,000 landscaping job if you don't then work for 4 months after that.
Yeah.
So what I always thought was accumulate these big contracts that are regular, fill that diary up, and then you don't have to worry anymore unless you want to expand.
That's how my life is now.
That's right. And I've felt very much the same with CatchPro. I'd sit there and I'd say, okay, I'm mowing, and if I sell 2 CatchPros per week, I can do this. But how the hell do you guarantee that?
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to look for a distribution deal. And the way that I wanted to structure that deal was get someone to commit to a certain amount of units.
Yep.
Say 300, 400, whatever the case may be. And then whatever it was, I knew a minimum that I could make.
Okay.
The trouble is that, let's say Australian distribution.
Yeah.
you've got really only a couple of channels. You've got GA spares.
Yep.
You've got Jack Max.
Yep.
I believe Briggs have like a spare parts division. And really so I was exploring all of those avenues.
Yeah.
But I was also, weird strategy. It's just, obviously none of it worked. But but what I tried to do was I tried to reach out to the OEMs.
Okay.
So SME, the distributor of Bobcat and Walker.
Yep.
International Mowers, the distributor of Skag.
Yep.
I did stay away from PLP and GA spares initially, and I'll get to that if you want to touch on it. A little bit of politics stuff there.
Okay.
But I basically reached... There's actually...
Did you reach out to Briggs as well for Gravely and that, or did you...
No, so Briggs is like Ferris Victor.
Were they still...
They, I believe...
Power? Was there an all-power thing back then, or was that...
All Power was already dead.
Okay,
All Power was already dead. Or I would have hit up All Power for sure.
Yeah.
Only because...
well, they already had the online thing... like on point, like
so around the time that they went defunct, I believe was when I started learning a little bit and thinking about products.
Yeah.
I in 2015, I was already, when I said I reached out to dry wraps and stuff, I'd got a few trimmer heads in from China, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my gosh, I paid 30 cents for these. Had no idea that like GA sells something like a gazillion of these things per year and have the molds for them, and there's just no way to compete. Now we have the rapid reload right now. But it's one small complementary product. As opposed to what I was thinking, like, fuck yeah, I'm just going to sell trimmer heads. But no, I reached out to, I don't know how much detail you want me to go into, but I got a funny story about Rob Shearer. May have touched on it.
Tell me.
So
I know the story, but I want them to know the story.
So I had reached out to some OEM brands. Now, I never thought about international markets at all, but I got a LinkedIn profile and posted some stuff on there. Now, the first international company that ever reached out to me was Bobcat Turf.
Okay.
So not SME, this is Bobcat Turf. And
based in the US?
This is yep. So I really forget the guy's name. Someone Scheffler. Anyway, he reached out and he's like, hey, great product. Can you send us one? And at the time, there was just so much talk about patents and product protection and, if you do this, you're going to lose that, and all of this stuff. And I got myself like fully worked up and was like, no, I'm not sending you one. And I've never spoken to them since. And who knows what opportunity that could have created. But it was definitely something that I probably should have explored a little more.
Look, to be honest, it was your first go. And I reckon you might have made the right decision. They're a big company. They could have just taken what you had. And,
they got bought out now anyway
that's true.
by Doosan, which I don't know. I mean, I couldn't imagine that with all the earth moving equipment and stuff that they do, that they give a fuck about a grass catcher. But I'll get to Rob Shearer in a minute. But with funny little thing about Ed Wright and Wright Manufacturing, I reached out to Ed, and he's got the grass gobbler. That they make, and things like that. So I said, look, would you be interested in an aluminium option? And he
is that a steel option that they've got?
They've got the steel one.
Okay. That'd add some weight.
I mean, I've never felt one. I can't remember the specs or anything. But anyway, I said, hey, what do you think? At first, I just wanted to know what he thought. And then I thought, oh, fuck it. You interested in either... I didn't know if I wanted him to buy it, or if I didn't know what I wanted. But I did say, would you be interested in making these, selling them to your dealer network and sending me a cut? And he's like, yeah, sure. What would you be looking at? And, you know, like I had like Rusty and a few other people. We don't know anything about margins or markups. And Rusty's like 20%, it's time to get fucked. So I've typed up a little email and I said that. And Ed just like straight away, he's like I just knew I fucked it so bad. Like, he's just like, because see, in America, their margins are not humongous because of the volumes.
Yeah.
They can work off volume. So their margins, you know, when they're retailing commercial mowers for, you know, 6,300 or something, and you've got a manufacturer, a dealer, a distributor, you got all the fingers in there, because they're selling like, you know, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of mowers. Yeah. It really banks up. So he's just like 20%. He's like, man, I ain't even getting paid that. Never spoke to him again about it.
Oh.
But to Rob Shearer, and Rob and I are great friends now, by the way, and we can laugh about this shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But I reached out to him, and man, I'm telling you, he could not be more disrespectful. He was one of the first people to email me back.
Yeah.
And it went something like, why would you do this?
Sounds like our dealer that we got our
yeah, you know, and then he even said to me, why would I get this when I can just bring the accelerator in?
Yeah.
And you can imagine me, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, why the fuck would you import something when you can have something homemade?
Yeah.
So he was not keen on it. He didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Certain things, you know, like, you know, and he will admit to this, but no one understood the stand-on market.
Yeah.
And the CatchPro goes hand in hand with those stand-ons.
Yeah.
Because they're right there.
And it's funny, now he's one of your biggest supporters.
Not only is he one of our, one of my biggest supporters, but I'm one of his biggest supporters.
Yeah.
Love the brand. He does a fantastic job. When we talk, we don't just talk business. We talk about our family lives, personal lives.
100%.
And we've got a really good friendship now. But I just thought it was funny. So I've got more on this, by the way. So, you know, I just kept emailing.
Yeah.
Eventually, one of my strategies, which was something that you asked me earlier, or I don't know if it's this question or not. One of my strategies was to pick a brand, hit up the OEM, and if that didn't work, then I would just hit their dealer network hard.
Yeah.
So Skag, I honestly saw it back then, and it's true, as a brand that nobody bought in Australia.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it, and I thought to myself, they're a small brand, maybe we can grow together.
Yeah.
Hit their dealer network hard. I ended up getting a screenshot from one of my dealers who, you know, we might have had 2 or 3 at the time.
Yep.
Or maybe a couple more. Got a screenshot, and it was an email from Rob to his whole dealer network saying, hello everyone. There is a pest in Brisbane and he's being very disrespectful, very rah. And he full blurted this bullshit out and said, watch out for this dude. So I fucking rang him on private.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, g'day, this is Rob. And I'm like, oh, hey, Rob, this is Ben from CatchPro. And like, I mean, I obviously couldn't see his face. We went back and forth for a little bit. Didn't talk again for a year.
Yeah.
We eventually reconnected as we got bigger.
Yeah.
And I sent him an email and said, you know what, Rob? You and I don't know each other really well. We've done some bad things to each other. Let's be men. Let's move forward. And he couldn't have been more gracious at the time and said, you know what, Ben, I'm ready to do that. And we've gone to new heights from there.
Yeah, and it's an awesome partnership. Like, as everyone knows, I am a fan of Skag. And man,
just a little bit.
And the CatchPro complements it now, and the fact that you guys now are rocking stickers on the CatchPros.
Yeah, man. I don't usually get up during a podcast, but
get them.
If you buy, so everyone listening is probably going to feel a little left out. Maybe you'll have to go to YouTube to have a look, but you get customized. Oh, it's not customized, is it?
It's as custom as it gets.
Yeah, okay. You get a Skag sticker for every on the CatchPro unit if bought for a Skag machine.
Yeah.
And you know what? We love that so much. And it's
cool.
a small gesture from them to say, you know what? We support these dudes. They support us.
Yeah. And it chucks a little bit of bling on.
Totally, man.
And I reckon that looks awesome. I know you've done some with Hustler.
Got some with just Hustler and Bushranger.
Okay. All right.
Cox Mowers have... occasionally they buy CatchPros.
Yeah.
And they put their own stickers on too.
They put a Cox on?
Yeah, they love the cock.
They love it.
So,
well, that's good. That's a good story about Uncle Rob. Yeah, I knew that story, but I kind of really wanted you to tell it. But so let's get out of the Australian market. How about we jump all the way forward to your Corey Ballard story?
So
how did that come to be?
So the Corey Ballard deal, it actually originated from Australian distribution. Do you want me to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, go for it.
So what happened was essentially after all the OEMs were not working for me, I exhausted all of my opportunities.
Yeah.
There was only Jack Max and GA left. Now, I had no idea the amount of politics and rivalries that actually was present in, like it's been going for like fucking 20 years or something.
Oh, okay.
And it couldn't have been more prevalent at the time. Yeah. And maybe even still now, I don't know. But I had there was so many people who were telling me, stay away from GA, stay away from the Gripskis, stay away from PLP.
Yeah.
All of these, they control all of those entities.
Yeah.
Heard lots of bad stuff about hustler reps walking into a dealership where that might have a CatchPro. Now, there wouldn't have been many.
Yeah.
But walking in there, taking photos, getting rulers, doing all sorts of things. Like people are just, were freaking me out. Do you own or work in your own lawn care or landscape business? Sure you do. Well, I bet finding durable and comfortable workwear can be a challenge. Not anymore with Bad Workwear. These guys have you covered for cold and hot climates, big or small waistlines, and they even have a stylish range for the ladies. If you're like myself or BJ and are sick of wearing belts, the Bad Saviour long or short drawstring pant will change your life forever. No need to worry about looking like a slob either. The Bad Saviour range will keep you looking like every bit of the pro that you are. If you're a tradie and need to wear a tool belt, they have this covered too, with the chino style or traditional style attitude or redemption pant. Hell, you can even pick up a pair of tracky dacks for those cold start mornings. What about shirts? Are you already wearing a company shirt uniform? I had a uniform for years, but the upkeep of printing out uniforms for myself and my staff became a burden. Now, at Greenscape Solutions, we just wear Bad Workwear t-shirts. We look like pros and always get complimented on a presentation. With high-vis options, polos, long or short sleeves, there really is something for everyone. The best part is now you can save 10% on all orders by using the code SKULL in capital letters at the checkout. No need to sign up for a newsletter to get a discount, just bung the word SKULL in capital letters at the checkout to receive 10% off all orders. With winter hitting in a few months, you'll want to check out the range of jackets and vests too. The waterproof Rain Defend hoodie is an absolute essential item for our line of work. My guys love it when I make them get amongst some hand weeding on a rainy winter's day with that Rain Defend hoodie. There's even accessories like hats, gloves, boots and more. Don't take my word for it, jump on the website. It's www.badworkwear.com.au. You'll be glad you did. Don't forget to follow them on IG or Facey. Take a pic with your new threads and tag TBL or CatchPro along with Bad Workwear to show us some support. Remember, use SKULL in capital letters at the checkout to save you 10%. I had tried to reach out to them.
Yep.
Had a few. I don't think anything verbal. I think everything was either email, social media. I really, really, really wanted to reach out to Jack Max.
Yep.
But these dudes have no social media profile. No one would get back to me. No one would get back to me.
Are they more for the dealer? They're not for the consumer, are they? Really?
No, so same with GA.
Oh, okay,
GA, they don't sell direct, and neither does Jack Max.
I feel like GA have a more... more presence than Jack Max. Everything you buy has a GA label on it, or...
Yeah, so...
I don't see that Jack Max shit around.
I mean, I can be a little bit controversial, and...
Yeah, do it.
Like, every mower dealership has a GA account.
Yeah.
You know, they're responsible for your blades, your belts, all your little fucking springs and all of this stuff. Yep. They got, all of that stuff. Now, Jack Max have all that stuff too. Usually, you've got dealers. Dealers will have two accounts. They'll have Jack Max account. They'll have a GA account. Now, this is just my opinion. Not everyone will agree with it. GA is superior.
Okay.
I didn't know that then.
Yeah.
But, when dealerships go through hard times and they can't pay their monthly account, oh, well, fuck it. We'll just go to the GA account. Okay. So to the Jack Max account.
Yeah.
And you can run that thing fucking like crazy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, like the bullshit politics that I was hearing was within the reps.
Okay.
Right. And there's been lawsuits and everything.
Oh, for real? That far?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Like proper, so there was...
like stealing intellectual property or shit like that? Or
not so...
The reps were punching on with each other?
Look, I think that there might have been a little bit of that going on.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things, and I didn't learn this until just after, but Jack Max originally sold one of their divisions to a company.
Yep.
And there was not a no compete clause, but there was, like if you sell a company to someone and you have a contract saying like, we're not going to continue selling, because you're selling that business, right? Yep. They did that for however many millions they sold it for, and then they started up Jack Max like the next, and then took all of their suppliers and clients. So there was a huge lawsuit, proper litigation. They actually had to pay out millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
When I eventually got a meeting with Jack Max, everything was great.
Yep.
We worked out a deal. I don't know how much it was really going to pay me. The difference between Jack Max and GA is Australian.
Yep.
For the Australians.
Okay.
Jack Max deals in several different international markets.
Oh, okay.
So
I had no idea about that, actually.
Yeah, so they will sell. So like when I was talking to them about distribution deal, it was like, hey, we could get we can sell 5,000 units in America, we can sell 400 in Australia, and we can sell fucking 300 to fucking Saudi Arabia.
So
like they literally had
worldwide.
Yeah, globally.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, where Corey came into it was, mate, I tell you, it was like I had a deal on the table with Jack Max. Had a deal on the table. All I had to do was print my name. We already had a prototype. It was made in China. Even though it was made in China, is the only unit ever made in China. Don't know where it is now, but I sold it to someone.
Yeah.
But only unit ever made in China. It's a genuine CatchPro, ready to roll.
Okay.
And I was watching a video on Facebook, and this dude comes up, and he's like got all this shit bolted to his mower, and the first thing that I remember seeing was the biceps.
Oh, those biceps.
And Rusty was with me, and I was like, wait, check this out. And I remember Rusty leaning over my shoulder and going like, oh yeah, biceps. Straight away. So that was my very, very, very first exposure to Corey Balor.
Biceps.
One of his marketing videos. So once I liked his page and really checked him out, I thought, fucking hell, this dude's he's balling. So that would have been, I reckon, maybe sometime in 2019.
Yeah.
And reached out to him, and in just over social media, sent him a few screenshots of like our best picks.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, he like one of his first ever messages replies to me was like, "Fuck yeah, I love it. I'll buy 500."
Straight up, just like.
Yeah, just.
Did you just drop nut then? Like, uh-oh.
No, because, and I remember I was at the village.
Yeah.
Just working with Rusty, and back then it was just.
How do you feel when you get that? Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
We're on.
Well, I remember we went, because I was going back and forth with him, and it was during the day, so I don't know, like it must have been.
Bro.
It must have been like his mid-evening time.
With a pump like that, he doesn't have to sleep.
So yeah, look, we definitely talked about an exclusive deal in America.
Yep.
The thing was that I had Jack Max, wanting me to sign the contract.
Were they pressuring? Were they putting the hard?
Yeah, like it was just up to me to sign it.
Okay.
It was just up to me to sign it, but you couldn't. So what I tried to do was, I said to Corey first, I said, yes, you can buy some, but you'll have to get it from these guys, Jack Max. Now, nothing was official, but I was thinking like, okay, that'll be their first client.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to the dude, I won't mention his name, from Jack Max. We're just going back and forwards. I was trying to, and he said something to me. One thing that really pissed me off about him is we were on the phone.
Yeah.
And I could hear him fucking typing on his keyboard.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't listening to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything. Then I was talking about Corey a lot. You gotta do a deal with him. You gotta do rah, rah, rah. And he fully said to me, he goes, "Mate, I don't want to fucking talk about this guy anymore." And literally, I was done with him. Because you talk to someone like Corey, he is the most driven, passionate. Not only that, he's successful.
Yeah.
And the guys over at Jack Max, they're not from our industry.
No, that's what I was going to say. Corey is an industry man. They seem to just be money men, like.
And it's, well, I mean, look, there's nothing. I'm sure they got a lucrative, successful business.
Yeah.
The deal that they offered me wasn't fantastic, but the sky was the limit.
Yep.
The difference was, I'm not going to say that I didn't do this for money.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting to become a millionaire or anything like that. I was just expecting to be able to make a living.
Yeah.
Now with Corey, he'd fucking show me all of his stats and, like his sales and everything like that.
Yeah.
Which was appealing, but when you talk to the guy, this dude, like, he got it. Yeah. And people give him shit, but he really gets it. He's not just online salesman. Yeah. That dude is, he's not new to this. He's true.
Yeah, he's legit. Our interview with him, like you can tell how passionate he is about the industry. Plus, not that he shows it on social media, because he is like, he's got to be the face of his two huge companies.
Two huge companies, yeah.
But he's a regular dude. Like, he's a regular, everyday dude. The conversation we had before we did the interview was just like, I was just talking to a mate with a different accent. It was good. You could tell that he was good, down-to-earth guy, and, I
mean, it really still took a long time for that deal to eventuate.
Did you kind of click with him?
Yeah. Because the reason why was
it a bromance?
Look, definitely on my end.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how he feels about it.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I always respected him so much, because there's one thing that, the guys at Jack Max, they wouldn't return my calls. It'd take them a while to email. I actually got a text message one day saying, "Hey, I've been on the piss. I'll get back to you in 2 or 3 days when I come good."
The fuck was he
doing?
And 2 or 3 days?
What the hell? And I'm like...
That's not on the piss, he's been on the bag.
Yeah, but whatever. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. We can all get amongst it, right?
Yeah.
But this was business.
Yeah.
This was my fucking livelihood.
Yeah, exactly.
You talk to Corey.
Yeah.
He's up at 4:00 in the morning doing bicep curls and all sorts of crazy shit. And that dude does not stop working. That was the dude that I needed to push my product.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the relationship, friendship, you know, whether it's business or personal, whatever, he was so, like I don't know, I've only talked to him a few times on the phone, but he just laughed. He just laughed at the accent. You know what I mean? Like, it was so different.
Yeah. Like the cultures are completely different.
Yeah, it's sort of same, but different. You know what I mean? So
like we're doing the same thing, but we're doing it a different way, and you know, it's good though.
And he was gonna offer me a better deal. He was also gonna offer me a license and rights fee. So Jack Max was not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, like 30 grand. Well, maybe it was 30 grand American. No, I think it was 20 grand American.
Yeah.
I roughly got 30 at the time. Now, people won't understand that, like, if I didn't get that, I wouldn't have gone into it. I don't know what would have exactly happened, but I had this humongous tax bill.
Yeah.
And mate, I could not pay it.
Yeah.
And Corey, he really bailed me out. He could have said to me, yeah, mate, we'll do this deal, sign on the line, and then you can get your royalty. He wanted to pay me for my hard work.
Yeah.
Jack Max were never going to do that. They wouldn't pay for any prototyping of new brackets, even though it was beneficial to them.
Yeah.
So many things that they wouldn't do.
Yeah. Oh, well, it seems like you dodged a bullet there, mate. Nah, that's awesome, man. I was actually really keen when you said that you got into bed with Corey.
Well,
yeah.
when he sleeps over.
Yeah, when he sleeps over. So, no, that's cool, man. Did that open up avenues to things like the advanced chute system? Like, that's been pretty big here in Australia. Like, I've had mine for fucking 3. How long? When did they first come out? I put mine as soon as they got here. I had one.
So I remember, out of my licensing fee, obviously paid some bills. I believe I got so the first product that came for him was the Darwin's grips.
Oh,
my first shipment cost me 10 grand.
Yeah, geez. Didn't even think about the Darwin's grip.
So that was, and what actually happened was, he sent the product over in good faith.
Yeah.
And then Corey said to me, he had said, you know, when are you gonna pay this bill? And I said to him, oh geez, I hope this was okay, but I was going to pay you out of my licensing deal. And he didn't make a deal out of it, and he accepted that.
Yeah.
He got his money ultimately.
Yeah.
But what it did for us was, obviously we've got a margin on the product.
Yeah.
It allowed me to essentially pay for $10,000 worth of product for nothing.
Yep.
So I was able to make some more off it, and then just grow from there.
Darwin's grips have been huge.
Well, now
people are asking for second-hand units. I've seen messages going.
People are offering up their left testicle.
Yeah. I saw a message.
That is literally a post. That's not. That's not me. Just freestyling.
Man. So that's the worst thing now. But back then, you had a steady supply. But
so with like all new products that come in, and like I don't know when Corey's been around for years, but I don't know like how. Like he's really balling now, and he really had, like, we've grown together.
Yeah.
I don't know, how well he really did before, but like it just seems like he is just, ever since we hooked up. Yeah, and it's probably more that I'm just aware of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, he sells thousands of those things. Yeah. I sell hundreds. You know what I mean? I haven't sold 1,000.
But you know what, man? The fact that he sent you those in good faith, like, it goes to show that he probably saw something in you similar to what you saw in him. He probably saw the passion for the industry and things like that, and he was like, fuck, this guy's got an untapped resource here in Australia. Let's help each other. And
so the original deal right?
Yeah.
Was like at the moment I'm sort of like an exclusive Ballard reseller,
Yeah,
like an agent. The original deal was he was coming over to set up a warehouse.
Oh, for real?
And I would be his guy here.
Oh, I remember that because I was like, yeah, I've got a forklift license. Let's do this.
Yeah. So that was the original deal.
Yeah.
Like that's what he said, man, I'm coming over. We'll get you a couple containers. You can be the store guy. You can wrap it. You can ship it. You can sell. So we weren't going to sell it. He was going to sell it. He was going to have a whole Australian page on his website. So for Australia, click here, and then it would still be the Ballard site, but it would just ship from Brisbane.
Yeah.
So he was going to do that. When we got the Darwin grips, because I was so impatient.
Yeah.
I was like, hey man, there was people who, like I started sharing the stuff to build interest.
Yeah.
He was doing teasers of CatchPro, and I was really proud of it. And I thought, I can get some credibility from this. So I'm trying to share this. Next minute, he's getting hit up from all the Australians.
Yeah.
Hey, can I buy 5,000 of these? Can I buy this? Can I buy... People who had a lot more money than me.
Yeah.
Even the guys over at GA that went to the GIE in 2019.
Yeah.
They had even... they were trying to find his booth at GIE.
Oh, for real?
Now, lucky for me, Corey don't work no booth.
Yeah.
And I did say to Corey at the time, hey, you know what? You just got to do what you got to do. So if someone from here, whether it's a GA or whoever it was, if they came to you with a business deal that made sense, just don't worry about me, because I didn't know I didn't have $100,000.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything I could do unless he was going to tick me up. There's nothing I could do. He's an online retailer. He's not a distributor.
Yeah.
So, you know, like if he's going to send $20,000 worth of free products to Australia in good faith,
that's huge.
Who knows? I never thought about it like that, but you know, he's a very smart businessman, and although he's very giving and he's very sympathetic, he's not a dumbass.
No.
You know?
No, he seems very intelligent, which is probably why he's gone so far in both the, you know, lawn care industry and in, like, the aftermarkets.
Yeah, man, he's got the gift of something.
Yeah, man, he's got something. Might be fucking something special in those biceps. A little genie or something.
24-inch pythons.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Yeah, so I remember when you sent me... I don't know if you sent it to me or I sent it to you. He did a video, and it was the first time that CatchPro popped up. Like, he had his prototype in the background.
Yeah, I think it was a teaser.
Yeah. He was talking about something completely different, and it was just in the background. So yeah, it was a teaser. And I fucking took a screenshot, and I like ran out to Lou. I was like, Lou, it's in there. It's like, it's there. He's got it.
I know, man. That was some really exciting times for me. Now, mind you, we were still starving by then.
Yeah.
Look, in the Australian market, I probably had some dealers. Like, I probably had a few dealers by then. But when he actually launched, that's when we started that's when I was actually building units.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, before then, you know, I built them up occasionally. I couldn't tell you how many we were doing, but as soon as we were able to piggyback off his credibility, that's when we started getting going. And believe it or not, that's when there is a few things that I want to clear up about GA.
Yeah.
So this is Roy Gripsky and Sons.
Yeah.
They're located in Brisbane. They have GA spares. They're currently the distributor of Hustler, Spartan mowers. Obviously, they have Bush Ranger, powered by Mariama.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of credibility in the industry. I do want to say, because I probably made them out at this point to be bad people.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell you, that is what everyone in the industry was telling me. And these are rival companies.
Yeah.
Obviously. But, you know, there's a guy out there called Graham Allen. And he is head of, like, new products, or he's like their behind guy, you know, like he's like the man. I teed a meeting up with him, took Vicky with me, sitting in the foyer there with the CatchPro. He walks out, he doesn't say a fucking word to me. He's a big dude, and I'm not talking fat, like he's like solid, like staunch. And this dude eyeballed me for like 5 minutes, just sitting like this, looking at the CatchPro, and I thought he was going to headbutt me. I did not know how to handle this, and I thought this dude's staunching me, like he's mad dogging me.
I've met him before, and I got a bit of that vibe from him, but
well, it's a crack up. So that was just a little sidebar story, but look, we went through the process.
Yeah.
At the time, I thought he was trying to be nice and just say, look, we don't want this product. But what he was really trying to tell me was, Ben, you need to get on your feet, because if we get involved and then we grow it as a company and you can't fulfill the market, we're going to have a big problem. They don't invest in brands that are not going to be for the long term.
Yeah.
And he didn't say it was a risk, but it would have been a risk.
Yeah.
Where it ended up being fantastic was I'd hurt my back and I had already had a stand-on mower.
Yeah.
They didn't have a stand-on mower yet. I just happened to be talking to him about it, and then it was probably like the first words he ever spoke to me.
Yeah.
He said, hey, you want to do some product testing? And I tell you what, off to the races from there.
Yeah.
And no one will truly know how much I respect, just like Rob Shearer.
Yeah.
Those guys have been fantastic to me. So much of CatchPro's success can be contributed to Rob Shearer, Paul Sheehan, Ben Gripsky himself, Graham Allen. They are like my mentors, and they treat me like a professional.
Yeah.
They respect my opinion. They love watching CatchPro grow.
Yeah.
Never say never. They might end up with it.
That's all good, man. But one thing I will say is, do not sell yourself short. I've watched this from day dot, and I've never seen anybody put so much effort into anything in my life.
Not even you into that beard?
Oh, this is easy compared to what you've done, man. Fuck. Look, I've watched it from start to finish. Well, it's not finished. It's fucking far from it. But till now, and man, you are fucking one hell of a, you just grind. Like, when this first all started, I was hard pressed to get you on the phone. You're like, yeah, I've been on the phone to Jack Max, I've been on the phone to GA, I've been on the phone to Rob. Fucking, it was crazy, man. And the hours you've put in, it's all fucking coming together now. Like, you really have done an amazing job at building this business.
Well, like I said, I became obsessed.
Yeah.
And it was a true obsession. Like, I remember I used to, like, you know, when you go to sleep at night, like I'd go to sleep at night and I'd just see like metal brackets. You know, like it sounds fucked, but that's exactly, like, I was so obsessed with it just consumed me. And, you know, like, I had a young family at the time, like I had no social life.
Yeah.
What better way to, like, you know, put your energy into something that, you know, and like I said, with a guy like Corey Ballard kicking at your heels, you know, like, with how innovative he is and all these things happening, like, people think when I go on these podcasts and I talk about him that I'm just sitting here sucking his dick, but it's not. It's not like that. Like, it's a full on respect. Yeah. And like I said, with a dude like that, you got to be on your game.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, sure. He will pull you up straight away, and he does not slouch on anything.
No.
So.
Oh well, man. Fuck, it's good. It keeps you motivated. But well, enough about the CatchPro.
Yeah.
You got fucking millions of, well, not millions of products, but you got a ton of products now. One of the biggest and one of my favorite has to be the Equipment Defender racking systems.
Yeah.
I love the Equipment Defender stuff. Each their own. I know some people are still on the You know, they still love their toolboxes and stuff. I love the Equipment Defender racking system. So how did that come about? Because...
Well, it came about, so...
Because I know Corey actually doesn't.
This is kind of tough, yeah. So, obviously, when I started, because I never went on YouTube.
Yeah.
But when I did all my prototyping and I had to learn about all these different mowers, and you just keep finding like all these products, and obviously Corey has a shitload, right?
Yeah. Fuck,
I became aware of Brian Fullerton, and for some reason, it just like some people dig him, some people don't. Obviously he's very successful.
Oh man, like you just have to look at his podcasting audience to know that he's successful.
Sly plug, by the way, everyone. Do you want to announce it?
Nah, you announce it.
No, you do it.
No, you do it. You do it.
All right.
You announce it.
Look, we're hoping to bust out an interview with Brian Fullerton in the next couple. It might even be the episode following this.
Yeah.
So we haven't 100% locked it in, but I think that's going to happen.
It's awesome.
Anyway.
I should reach out to him, eh? I haven't actually spoken to him.
He knows who you are.
Oh my god, Ryan knows who I am.
Nah, he knows who you are.
That's cool. I will actually reach out to him because I probably should build a rapport before we actually interview the guy.
This is going to be... I mean, I can tell by the way that this episode's going. Obviously, it was going to be natural anyway, but you've done a little bit of research this time.
Yeah.
Whereas we don't usually get to research.
Like, nah.
We don't get to research our shows. But no, look, Equipment Defender... I became aware of Brian. I really liked his channel. He wasn't this like, super meathead. He was just a normal dude. And so, he has like all these Brian's codes and, so I, became aware of some of his stuff that he rocks.
Yep.
Reached out to Corey and said, hey, because when you're shipping from America, typically say Darwin grips, Pro masks. See, the Pro mask, this was right when COVID hit.
I was going to say, you couldn't have timed that any better.
No, it was like a match made in bloody heaven. So, you can ship like a couple of hundred of those and it weighs nothing. So that was great. We did awesome with that. We looked at the spool racks, got some of them in. And then, so this is actually the Green Touch spool racks. Now, I looked at the Green Touch line. Corey said to me, he said, look, I just don't know that I can really ship you this stuff.
Yeah.
Because they've got thousands of orders a week. Like the market over there is just so different. So he wrote me this really nice... So I still wasn't 100% aware of Equipment Defender yet.
Yeah.
Still learning those products. Usually the way that we learn is we just bring them in.
Yeah.
He wrote me this really nice introductory letter to the guys at Green Touch.
Yep.
Introducing me, copied me in. They came back to me and said, look, we really love your website. We like where you're going, but we kind of already have someone over there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, like I just thought it was the end.
Yeah.
So they gave me the bloke's name, reached out to him and just, told him what we're doing, what products we have. Look, he was willing to do business. It just didn't seem lucrative.
Yeah.
We were really building our social media presence.
Yeah.
We were really building it. I was really putting myself out there.
You really take a hit anyway when you're importing stuff from the US.
Not a fun process. It's just, like I said, it's just the financial hits that you take all the time.
Yeah.
People will never understand.
Some of the margins you've mentioned to me that you make on some of these products, I'm like, what?
Yeah, some of them are more lucrative than others, but the stuff that comes in from America is a shocker. Yeah. And then when dealers reach out to us, they're like, oh, hey, what price can you do? And you tell them, and they're like, you fucking serious? Yeah. They're like, I'm getting off the phone. Yeah. But no, look, I reached out to Andrew, I think his name is. Like I said, he was willing to do business, but it just didn't make any business sense. Yeah. Really, I think, in hindsight, for either of us. So, reached out to Brian. First was quizzing him about the product, because I had never seen it.
Yeah.
I don't think that there was a single equipment defender rack in Australia. Probably was, but not that I knew of or could see. Put me in touch, and these dudes are they're like hell chilled. They're like, man, I can't. At the time, I borrowed money from a friend.
Yep.
For the first shipment. I brought that in. This is kind of embarrassing, but I guess it's true. We had to run pre-sales to pay the customs bill.
Oh, for real?
We could not, this thing was clearing customs.
Yeah.
And, we got rough pricing. It was $5,000 or something.
Yeah.
And I was legit oh my gosh. We ran pre-sales, and luckily we had enough local support that, and when I say local support, I'm just talking about the lawn mowing community.
Yeah.
We made that back, and I had a agreement with my friend, hey, I'll pay you X, rah, rah, rah. And I think I paid it off. I think I had 2 months to pay it off, and I think I paid it back in 3 days.
Yeah.
And asked him to come on board.
Yeah.
I think it worked out for the better, but anyone that I ever reached out to do business with said no.
Yeah.
But that's how that started. And, geez, man, I tell you, I mean, anyone who's got an equipment defender rack,
yeah,
whether it's the blower rack, trimmer rack, whatever it is, it's a really, really well-built piece of equipment. Solid. And I tell you, these dudes are so cruisy, right? They send me an invoice, and it says payment terms 30 days. And what I do is because it's in American dollars,
yeah,
I would divide it by 3 or 4, and that would be my installments. And I literally just now I'm pretty good with it.
Yeah.
But I just pay whenever I want. It's supposed to be a 30-day account.
Yeah.
I pay it in 120 days.
Well,
which is a lot. That's quarter of a third of a year.
Yeah.
And the shipments are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, that's probably why they don't mind. They're seeing.
And I tell you what, quick. Now I don't have any images yet, but we got some really good stuff coming from Equipment Defender.
No way, new stuff.
Yes way. We got some really cool things coming. So just I mean, everyone can see that. We'll see that on our socials.
Oh, you're gonna have to tell me after.
Yeah, so we got some really cool stuff coming from ED.
Fuck yeah! So, CatchPro, Equipment Defender. We've already talked about Darwin's grips. The ACS is a big unit here. What else you got? What else have you?
In terms of some of our marquee products, ISO Tunes has been a fantastic one for us. Now,
I fucking love my ISO Tunes.
Yeah. Now, this is where things can sometimes get awkward with Corey.
Okay.
Because he's got his plug phones.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
And he sent me some in an order. Great product.
Yeah.
But the numbers don't work out.
Yeah.
We have to sell them for ridiculous amounts. And Corey says to me, he says, Ben, if you got the platform, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Whereas Josh, at the time, was Ben, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We need to look for a different product. And Josh was always, I don't know if he was ever butthurt or whatever, but I looked at Corey as a mentor.
Yeah.
He did not look at Corey as a mentor. He looked at him as someone who was going to steal my product, bend me over and fuck me.
Yeah.
If that happens, we'll see.
Yeah.
But it's not what I believe. Josh was always we need to stay away from Ballard. You said you can bring the Ballard products in, but you cannot be exclusive. You got to have your eggs in some different baskets. Now, hindsight, I actually like that.
Yeah.
It is a lot easier to bring in Ballard products because you can say, okay, I want 10 of this, 10 of that, 10 of that, and they just send it over.
Yeah.
With Equipment Defender and ISO Tunes and stuff, it's you're placing all these different orders and you got a 60-day account here, a 90-day account there, and you have to be very organised.
Yeah, that's it.
But at the same time, ISO Tunes is a fantastic product. It has a fantastic range.
Yeah.
And you're lending credibility off guys like Brian, who are ambassadors. And one thing that always cracks me up is when people email me and say, "Ben, the Brian's 10 code is not working," and I'm like, "Dude, you don't, if let's say I had Brian's 10 codes, we'd go out of business."
That's it. Yeah.
But no, look, that's one of the ones.
What about some of the ones that you've developed? Like the wheel locker. That's another piece of Australian ingenuity.
Yeah, so the wheel locker, it's a simple, I was going to say tool, but it's not a tool. It's a simple product. And I was just, looking at, obviously I'm a contractor.
Yeah.
Using Oki straps and chocks of wood and stuff like that. And I thought there's just got to be an easier way.
I was over the Oki straps, and I was strapping my Skag 30-inch down, and no mole. And it was like, why the fuck hadn't someone seems really like such a...
Look, there's really nothing out there, but Corey had the power locker.
Yeah. That's for ZTRs, isn't it?
It's for zero turns, yeah. Look, I wouldn't say that necessarily gave me any inspiration.
Yeah.
But when I was kind of thinking of the idea, I actually went to Equipment Defender first.
Yeah.
And what's really hard about that is, I have a different relationship with Corey. We do a lot of business over Messenger. Now you got to think about that, right? This is two people who have never met.
Yeah.
Facebook Messenger. That's where we do a lot of our business.
Well, sure, mate. You haven't met the Equipment Defender guys, have you?
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
it's a different relationship. So they're cruisy as hell. I have his WhatsApp number.
Yeah.
If I need to reach him in emergencies.
Yeah.
But everything else is just done. I don't have a personal email. It's sales at Equipment Defender.
Jeez.
And everything's like, hey, I need this, this, and this. All right, here's your bill. It's not different relationship. That's all. So, sort of, trying to tell him my idea, and those dudes, they got, I don't know, 10 products, whatever the lineup is, and obviously, like I said, they're developing some shit.
Yeah.
But they've got a whole R&D crew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas I kind of, look, it's more of a simplified product.
Yeah.
And so, I was just, cutting up bits of metal and bending them myself, out of thin pieces, and started to come about. Then went down to my factory and said, hey, could we get some drawings? And then they said, can you draw it? So I drew it, and we did all the bits and pieces.
Equipment Defender's defense, was COVID hitting when you developed that, or when you were trying to offer that to them to develop?
I'd say COVID was pretty prevalent in America then, and there was all sorts of shit happening. Okay. So, in fact, the combination lock factory is gone. Yeah, it's gone.
Because I've had multiple sets of my racks due to accidents. I did have all combination racks.
Yeah.
And then I ended up with, I've got one key, but it doesn't bother me. It's a backpack blower, so I just...
Yeah. So now everything is key lock. And look, it was... We copped it there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Look, we might be able to source them again.
Yeah.
And I think you can swap out the locks.
Oh, true. That would be good.
It's not happening yet, but that might happen down the line. But yeah, sure, they might. They're probably going through that. They have a really different business model to Corey.
Yeah.
So look, it wasn't that I needed an American company to help me develop it or anything. I was just simply trying to find out, does this idea have any legs?
Yeah.
I didn't really leak anything until I was pretty damn close to the real thing, and I think I mostly used you.
Yeah.
Ended up showing it to Corey, and I remember at first he was like, I don't know, man, what's this? And I'm like, no, think about it, man. I was like, like, I don't know how many zero turns there are, but there has to be a fuckload of push marks out there. Yeah. And then I was like, you know, maybe you could even use it on some of the smaller walk behinds.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's done that yet. But, you know, like, you can, you know, compressors, gurneys, like, there's...
Shit, I didn't even think of any of that.
Yeah, and it's not like, we don't market it here for that. But, you know, like, it's because we've got the mower market. Yeah. But no, the wheel locker is a product I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
There has been, you know, there's skeptical comments about it, like, oh, why don't you just use a fucking bungee strap? Well...
Because it looks like shit.
You know, like, just so much, like, oh, you know, what if you just use this? Well...
The thing is, I spent 10 on my trailer, then I spent, like, another 2 on my racks, or 3, or whatever the fuck I spent on my racks. Everything is got a place, it's all locked in beautifully, and then I had my beautiful Skag SCF 30 strapped up with all these fucking bungee cords. It's like, fuck, there's got to be something. And then Uncle Benny comes along, and then I can just flick a fucking lock through. She's all locked up. No more chains. Like, I was chaining that thing to my trailer at one stage. That's, you know.
Yeah, and, you know, like, people are like, because we obviously called it the wheel locker.
Yeah.
Because you can lock it, right?
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, bloody, you know, if a criminal wants to do this, this, and this. And that is true. If a criminal wants something... Yeah. They'll just get a pair of bolt cutters and they'll cut whatever the fuck you've got. The point is that when they get there and they're like, what the fuck is this thing? Like, criminals, you know, they're not just sitting there like, oh, well, what's the best way to get into this? Yeah. They just want to go in and just rush it, like, just fucking boom.
Yeah. It's a huge deterrent.
Yeah. So, like I said, at the end of the day, you know, it's really no different to, like, having your windows rolled up in the car.
Yeah.
Like... Man, what would it take, like 2 seconds for someone to break that window and grab whatever the hell you got in there? Yeah. But they're not going to do it because it's going to be a pain in the ass.
That's exactly right.
So, yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, I mean, we've talked about CatchPro products. We talked about where you came from, the business itself, all your relationships. Now, let's talk about one other thing that has come about from CatchPro and the Bearded Lawnsman, this podcast. Are you happy? Are you happy to say that this was a good idea? I want to know.
Oh man, totally. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we've told the story, but it was your idea.
Yeah.
And I wasn't real keen.
You were skeptical.
Look, I know when I say I was skeptical, it, you know, because you were confident, it was making me confident, and it wasn't whether or not. Look, I think a little bit, like, I put myself out there so much already.
Yeah.
And, you know, you got people who, you know, write comments like, look at this dude's dick nose, or, you know, like...
What?
You know, like I said, all sorts of shit. And, you know, like, oh, look at his, whatever, you know, whatever the case may be.
I must be missing all the comments about me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I get in CatchPro.
Yeah.
Because we blurt those adverts out to, you know, hundreds of thousands of people. In this environment, and I didn't exactly know, you know, how what people we could touch or whatever, but everyone has been fantastic.
Yeah.
And it makes me keep wanting to do it. So, like, when, I think we missed, one episode?
Yeah.
We missed 1 week.
Yeah.
When Josh tried to do me.
Yeah.
And then since then, it was like, so when that happened.
It was a convenient week because I moved house as well.
Yeah, and I think there was something else going on too.
Yeah, I think I was sick or something. I don't know.
Might have been, or was it me?
Oh, yeah.
It might have been me that was...
it was just a fuck up of a week.
Like, gnarly migraines or something. Yeah. But anyway, look, I remember when we lost Josh, and I said to you, I said, Beej, like, you have to produce this thing or we're done.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it just, like, that was just how it was going to have to be. Like, I would never be able to put the time into it. When you agreed, I was like, same thing with Corey, like, that's commitment.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, man, I couldn't be more thrilled. You know, we don't really have much of a social life.
No. This is our social life.
When we talk in person, we talk shit about the business anyway.
That's exactly right. I felt like we were missing an opportunity. We would talk on the phone, and I'd look at my phone. I'm like, fuck, 40 minutes is going. I'm like, we just been talking shit about mowers and CatchPro products and all the things that you're doing, all the things I'm doing. And I thought, fuck, we could get this on and put it out there, and people would probably like it. So.
Yeah, funny story. Speaking to Gary Ashton today, and he, I won't blurt out the name because you know something might happen later on. But he's having a conversation with a dude. Apparently, he talked to him for like 3 hours last night, and it occurred to him halfway through, I need to fucking press record on this because I can use this as content. And he never did it, and it just kept going and going and going. Yep. And I said to Gary, I said, dude, like someone needs to tap my phone because I have conversations with all these people.
I can only imagine. And,
good organic material.
Yeah, that's it. That's what people want. Real shit. Like we're both in the industry. We're both you're in a different kind of industry now. You're still in the other industry. Like it's our life. Like I don't have a social life. I literally this is it. This is my outing for the week. When I'm at home, I'm with the kids and stuff like that, but I love it, man. I wouldn't have it any other way.
And I've totally grown to love it too. Like it's, it's one of those things now where I'm feeling pretty damn committed to it, and we've got so many awesome interviews to do. Lots more topics to cover.
Sky's the limit. Well, I know that you're normally the one to say it. I think it's almost time to put a bow on this story.
Yeah, what? I don't know how long we've been rolling for.
No idea, but I just wanted to say before we go, congratulations, man. You've done a fucking fantastic job.
Want a pass now?
Can we?
That's just where I feel like this kid's going.
No, you really have. You've outdone yourself, mate, and I wish you nothing but the best for the future because pretty much the better you do, the better I'll do.
So do you reckon this story... it's like I just got that. Do you reckon this story is going to get over with everyone? Like, do you think... I don't care.
I was interested, so I hope everyone else did.
So should we tell them to leave their feedback?
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm not the host today.
Oh, I'm the host today. Fair enough.
So, like...
Don't forget to leave your feedback on all of the social platforms, on the podcast platforms. Check out Bad Workwear. Our new supporters. God damn. Punch in Skull 10 at the checkout to get 10% off.
All in capitals.
All in capitals. Don't forget that. Man, you know what? Big Booty Beach fits in their shorts. God damn. I sent Benny a photo. I can't really post it.
I was going to post it.
Were ya?
Yeah, bloody oath.
Oh, I was a little embarrassed. But,
Also, can I say this episode's going to drop on a Sunday.
Yep.
So if you're listening to this, it's probably like a Sunday or a Monday right now. On the Wednesday, we're doing a Mean Green demo.
Ooh.
On the Poity Acres.
I'm going to try and get there.
Yeah.
Do me best.
You'll be right. You'll fucking get there.
I'll make it happen. I'll bring Willie with me.
So, I mean, we'll probably just put that on YouTube. We might do some reels and social media stuff. Yeah. But that's pretty cool. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I don't have nothing else to say.
I've got shit in the works. So it's just too much. Every day is something different. But no, man.
Actually, really quickly before we go.
Yeah. What up?
I just can't fucking help myself.
What up?
Obviously, we dropped the teaser about Brian Fullerton.
Yes.
Let us know if you want us to interview him.
Yeah.
Tell us what you want us to interview him about. And strong interaction. We need the Australian audience to have a big play in this.
Yeah, well,
because he can do great things for people.
Yeah, 100%. He's got his own academy. Like, he's got his Launchpreneur Academy.
I don't give a fuck about any of that.
Yeah, but that's huge, man. Like, people are fucking loving it. People are making... Like, I joined...
Listen to me, eh?
Yeah, I fucking don't care. No, like, he's done a great thing. Well, he's doing great things. And, I don't know, I think it's going to be interesting. I am worried because we are pretty raw. He is not like us in that sense. I've never talked to him personally. You've done a podcast with him before, and you've probably spoke to him before that.
We did. We touched base a little bit. You're talking about like verbally before we went live. Yeah, we. I mean, it's hard. Like you kind of say g'day, and like, am I allowed to swear? Yeah. A few things. Now that was just.
Do you think I can get him to say grass bukkake?
That we need to do that.
I'm gonna. Should that be my first interaction?
Because like I text Corey stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes he has no idea. Like, he has no idea what that means. So, and I feel like Brian could be a little more sheltered than Corey.
Yeah.
So some of that stuff's going to be bloody hilarious.
Well, hopefully you can...
And what's going to be funny about it is it'll be a Zoom chat.
Yeah.
So we're looking... So, like, if he's tripping out or wigging out, like, we're going to know. It's not like a, So.
Well, I really hope that, we don't come across too crazy. But I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah, guys, thank you again, everyone. Ben, congratulations on the success of CatchPro. And
give me one of these. Do it to me.
Mwah! We'll see you next week.
Too sweet.
Mwah!